There is a silent reason why so many people feel disappointed in life, and it is not because life is cruel. It is because the mind writes stories that reality never promised to follow. You expect people to understand you without speaking. You expect life to reward you without delay. And when it doesn't, something inside you quietly breaks. But here is the truth most people never confront. Expectation is the silent architect of disappointment. In the teachings of Lord Buddha, suffering does not come from life itself, but from attachment to how life should be. So what if your pain is not caused by what happened, but by what you expected to happen? Every disappointment in your life has one hidden cause, and it's not other people. What if the real source of your pain is something you're doing unconsciously? Look at your own life. How often are you reacting to reality versus reacting to what you thought should happen? Before we begin, subscribe to Buddha's Eternal Wisdom, your doorway to calm, clarity, and timeless Buddhist insight. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you may not just understand your suffering, you may finally be free from it. Expectations are invisible contracts. Why do you feel hurt, even when no one truly wronged you? Sit with this quietly. The answer may unsettle you. It is not always life that wounds you. It is the silent contract your mind created, expecting life to obey. You hoped they would understand, respond, care, stay, without ever speaking it aloud. And when they didn't, you called it betrayal. But was there ever a promise, or only an expectation? Reflect deeply. How many times have you waited for a response to a letter that was never sent? Expectation is subtle. It does not shout. It whispers. They should know. They should do this for me. And in that whisper, suffering begins. A wise teaching says, unspoken expectations are the heaviest burdens because you carry them alone. You bind others with invisible threads, and when they move freely, you feel pulled, stretched, and hurt. But they were never tied. Only you were. So ask yourself gently, what pain in your life is born not from reality, but from assumptions? In the stillness of evening, imagine this. Close your eyes for a moment. See every expectation as a thin thread tied from your heart to someone else. Some threads are tight, some tangled, some quietly suffocating you. Now, without anger, without blame, begin to untie just one. Slowly, gently, feel what happens inside you. There is space, there is breath, there is a strange lightness. This is the beginning of peace, not by changing others, but by releasing what you demanded from them. In your daily life, this truth hides in simple places. You expect appreciation for your effort, but stay silent about your needs. You expect loyalty, but never express your fears. You expect others to read your heart, while you hide it behind pride. And then you suffer. Not because life is cruel, but because your expectations were invisible. So pause and ask yourself, am I expecting understanding without offering clarity? Here is the quiet shift that transforms everything. Stop asking life to fulfill your unspoken desires. Start meeting life as it is, not as you imagined it should be. Speak when needed. Accept when silence answers you. And most importantly, release the need for others to complete your inner world. Because the moment you let go of expectation, you take back your power. Remember this deeply. Peace is not found when life meets your demands. It is found when your mind releases them. So, begin today. Untie one thread, then another. Build a mind that is strong, disciplined, and free from silent contracts. Because you suffer not because life is unkind, but because your mind refuses to release what it demanded from it. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My mind is free now." 2. The ego that demands reality. Obey. Who decided how your life should unfold? Sit with this question without rushing to answer. Notice how quietly the word should has shaped your thoughts. They should respect me. This should not have happened. I should be further ahead. These are not truths. They are rules written by the ego, rules designed to create a sense of control in a world that was never meant to be controlled. And when life does not obey, you suffer, not because life is against you, but because your mind refuses to accept what is. The ego is not loud at first. It feels protective, almost wise. It tells you how things must be for you to feel safe, valued, complete. But beneath that illusion is rigidity, a silent demand that reality must bend to your expectations. And when it doesn't, frustration rises, then anger, then quiet disappointment. A teaching whispers, the world does not bend, only the ego breaks. So, reflect honestly. What are you holding onto so tightly that it is now holding you hostage? Picture this gently. A king stands by the edge of the sea, shouting orders at the wind. Blow softer, move aside, obey me. But the wind does not listen. The waves do not pause. The king grows restless, then furious, then exhausted. Not because the wind is cruel, but because he believed he could command it. In the same way, your suffering grows each time you argue with reality. So, ask yourself, are you trying to control life or understand it? Now, close your eyes for a moment. Imagine gathering every should you carry, the expectations, the silent rules, the rigid demands. Hold them in your hands, feel their weight. Now place them into a flowing river. Watch as the current carries them away, without resistance, without negotiation. The river does not ask if you agree, it simply flows. And as your shoulds drift away, something within you softens. This is not loss, this is freedom. In your daily life, begin small. When something doesn't go your way, pause before reacting. Notice the should forming in your mind and gently release it. Replace control with awareness. Replace resistance with acceptance. Ask yourself, do I want control or peace? Because you cannot hold both at the same time. The moment you stop demanding life to follow your script, life stops feeling like a battle, and you begin to move with it, not against it. So, train your mind. Build discipline not in controlling the world, but in releasing your grip on it. Because peace begins where your shoulds end, and life finally becomes what it was always meant to be, free, flowing, and untouched by your demands. 3. The lens that distorts reality. Have you noticed how often life seems to confirm what you already feared or secretly hoped? Pause here. This is not coincidence. The mind is not a window, it is a lens. And whatever you expect, it quietly begins to show you. You walk into a room expecting rejection, and every silence feels like judgment. You expect disappointment, and even small delays feel like proof. So ask yourself honestly, are you seeing life clearly, or are you only seeing what your mind prepared you to see? A quiet truth echoes through wisdom. You do not see life as it is, you see it as you expect it to be. This is how suffering deepens, not because reality is always harsh, but because your perception is already shaped before the moment even arrives. The mind searches for confirmation, not truth. It filters, selects, and magnifies until your expectation becomes your experience. Reflect gently. How often are you reacting to thoughts, not facts? Imagine a mirror covered in dust. When you look into it, you don't question the reflection. You assume it is accurate. But the distortion is not in reality, it is on the surface of the mirror. Your expectations are that dust. Every past hurt, every fear, every silent assumption, they settle on your perception, and slowly you stop seeing clearly. So pause and ask, what am I assuming before things even happen? Now close your eyes for a moment. Picture standing before that mirror. With each breath, you begin to wipe it. Slowly, patiently, not forcing, not rushing. As the dust fades, something subtle happens. The reflection becomes clearer, simpler, quieter. This is what it feels like to release expectation. Reality does not change, but your relationship with it transforms, and in that clarity, there is peace. In your daily life, practice this awareness. Before reacting, pause. Notice the story forming in your mind. Ask yourself, is this true, or is this my expectation speaking? This small gap is powerful. It breaks the cycle of unconscious reaction. It returns you to presence. Because when you stop projecting meaning onto every moment, you begin to experience life as it truly is. So train your mind gently, not to control what happens, but to see without distortion. Let go of the need to predict, to assume, to conclude before life unfolds. Because the moment you drop your expectations, even briefly, you will notice something profound. Peace was never missing. It was only hidden behind the lens you refused to clean. 4. The trap of negative expectations. Why do your fears feel so real, even before anything has happened? Sit with that discomfort for a moment. Notice how your mind moves ahead of life, quietly rehearsing loss, rejection, failure. It creates scenes, repeats them, sharpens them, until the imagined pain begins to feel like truth. And then you react, not to reality, but to a future that does not yet exist. So ask yourself gently, am I living this moment or preparing to suffer the next one? There is a silent pattern here. The mind believes it is protecting you by predicting what could go wrong. But in doing so, it shapes your behavior, your tone, your energy. You withdraw too early. You hesitate too long. You doubt yourself before you begin. And, slowly, what you feared starts taking form, not because life demanded it, but because your actions aligned with that fear. A quiet teaching reminds us, the future you fear is often the one you quietly create. Reflect deeply. What negative outcome are you expecting without proof? Imagine holding a small seed in your palm. Each fearful thought, each doubt, each silent assumption is like this seed. You may not notice it at first, but the moment you believe it, repeat it, act from it, you plant it, and over time, it grows. Not into something gentle, but into thorns that scratch every experience. And then you wonder, why does life feel so harsh? But the question is deeper. What have you been planting within? Now pause. Close your eyes. Feel those seeds resting in your hand. One by one, look at them without judgment. You do not have to plant them. You do not have to carry them. Slowly, open your hand and let them fall. Watch them disappear into the earth without attachment. This is choice. This is awareness. And in that small act, something shifts. The future loosens its grip on you. In your daily life, begin to notice this pattern. When fear speaks, do not immediately obey. Create a gap. Ask yourself, is this happening now, or is this my mind predicting pain? And then take one small step forward anyway. Speak, act, trust. Because every action rooted in awareness weakens the hold of fear. So train your mind not to predict suffering, but to meet life with openness. You cannot control what will come, but you can choose what you nurture within. And remember this, peace does not grow where fear is constantly planted. It grows where the mind learns to release what it no longer needs to believe. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My mind is free now." 5. The pain of unmet expectations. Why does disappointment cut so deeply, even when nothing truly catastrophic has happened? Sit with this quietly. Look closer. The pain you feel is not always from reality. It is from the version of reality you created in your mind. You imagined how it should go, how they should respond, how life should unfold. And when that image breaks, something inside you collapses with it. So ask yourself honestly, am I hurt by what happened or by what didn't happen? There is a gentle truth here that many avoid. Pain begins where imagination collides with truth, not because imagination is wrong, but because you held it too tightly. You turned a possibility into an expectation and then into certainty. And when life offered something different, you resisted it. That resistance is what you feel as pain. Reflect deeply. What story are you still holding on to, even though reality has already moved on? Picture this softly. You build a palace in the clouds, carefully, beautifully, with hope and anticipation. You walk through its halls in your mind, believing it is real. But clouds do not hold shape forever. They shift, they dissolve, and when your palace disappears, you feel loss. But was anything truly taken from you? Or did you attach yourself to something that was never solid? This is where suffering quietly grows. Now, close your eyes for a moment. See that imagined outcome in front of you. The plan, the expectation, the way you wanted things to be. Watch it gently dissolve like mist under the warmth of sunlight. Do not resist it. Let it fade. And now, notice what remains, the present moment, simple, unadorned, real. There is no conflict here, no argument, only what is. And within that simplicity, there is a quiet kind of peace. In your daily life, practice this awareness. When disappointment arises, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, am I resisting reality or accepting it? This question creates space. And in that space, you can release the need to rewrite what has already happened, because reality does not ask for your approval, it only asks for your presence. So train your mind gently, not to stop imagining, but to stop clinging. Let life unfold without forcing it to match your inner script, because the moment you release the story, you stop fighting the truth. And in that surrender, you discover something deeper than expectation: freedom. 6. The more you chase, the more you lose. Why do the things you want most begin to slip away the moment you cling to them? Sit with this question without rushing past it. Notice how your grip tightens when something feels important. Love, success, approval. You hold it carefully at first, then firmly, then desperately. And somewhere in that tightening, it begins to fade. Not because it was meant to leave, but because your fear turned it into something heavy. So ask yourself, what am I chasing right now? And why does it feel like I cannot let it go? There is a quiet law in life that few notice until they suffer from it. The more you chase, the more you disturb the natural flow of things. Your energy shifts from calm presence to restless pursuit, and that restlessness creates pressure. People feel it, opportunities resist it. Even your own mind becomes exhausted by it. A simple truth emerges here. What you chase runs, what you become stays. Reflect deeply. Are you trying to attract something, or are you trying to control its arrival? Imagine holding water in your hand. At first, it rests gently in your palm. But the moment you close your fist, trying to keep it, it slips through your fingers faster and faster until nothing remains. This is how attachment works. It disguises itself as care, as effort, as determination. But beneath it, there is fear. Fear of loss, fear of not having enough. And that fear tightens your grip until there is nothing left to hold. So pause and ask, am I acting from peace or from desperation? Now close your eyes for a moment. Feel your hand slowly unclench. No force, no struggle, just a quiet opening. Notice the difference. When your hand is open, there is space, there is ease. Things can come and they can go without resistance. This is not loss. This is freedom. Because you are no longer trying to trap life, you are allowing it to move. In your daily life, practice this shift. When you feel the urge to chase, pause, breathe, return to yourself. Focus not on grabbing what you want, but on becoming steady, grounded, and clear. Take actions from calm intention, not from fear-driven urgency, because what is meant for you does not require force, it requires alignment. So train your mind to release the chase. Let go of the need to hold everything tightly. Build a presence that is strong, yet soft, disciplined, yet open. Because the moment you stop chasing, you stop losing. And life, in its own quiet way, begins to move closer, not because you forced it, but because you finally allowed it. 7. Detachment is not indifference. Does letting go mean you stop caring? Sit with this question, because the mind resists it. It fears that without attachment, love will disappear. But look closer. What you often call love carries tension, expectation, quiet control. It says, "Stay the same, don't leave, be who I need you to be." And when that doesn't happen, pain rises. So ask yourself gently, am I loving or am I holding on? There is a deeper truth hidden here. Detachment is not coldness, it is clarity. It is the ability to care without chaining your peace to someone else's behavior. A quiet teaching reminds us, true love is free from the need to possess. This does not weaken love, it purifies it. Because when you remove the need to control, what remains is something lighter, steadier, more real. Reflect honestly. Where in your life are you confusing attachment with love? Imagine a tree standing in stillness. It offers shade to anyone who comes near. It does not ask who deserves it. It does not beg anyone to stay. When someone leaves, it does not wither in sorrow. It remains rooted, grounded, complete within itself. This is what it means to care without clinging, to give without losing yourself, to love without fear tightening your grip. So pause and ask, can I offer my presence without demanding permanence? Now close your eyes for a moment. Picture someone or something you deeply care about. Feel that connection fully, without holding it tightly. Let it exist without needing to control its future. Notice what changes inside you. There is no panic here, no pressure, only a calm strength. This is the freedom of detachment, not distance, but balance. In your daily life, begin to practice this gently. When you notice the urge to control, to secure, to guarantee an outcome, pause, breathe. Remind yourself, I can care deeply without needing this to stay. Speak honestly, act with kindness, but release the demand for things to unfold your way. Because the moment love becomes a requirement, it begins to lose its peace. So train your mind to love with open hands. Build a heart that is strong enough to give and wise enough to let go. Because true connection is not built on possession, it is sustained by freedom. And when you no longer depend on others to hold your inner balance, you discover a deeper peace, one that stays even when everything else changes. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My mind is free now." 8. Stop trying to control everything. Why do you feel so tired, even when you have done nothing physically exhausting? Sit with this honestly. The fatigue you carry is not always from work. It is from control, from constantly trying to manage outcomes, people, timing, and uncertainty. You try to predict what will happen, prevent what might go wrong, and shape everything into something safe. But tell me quietly, what are you trying to control that was never yours to control? The mind believes control will protect you. It whispers, if I plan enough, if I think enough, I will not be hurt. But this is an illusion. Life does not move according to your calculations. It shifts, it changes, it surprises. And every time reality moves differently than you planned, Tension rises inside you. A gentle truth emerges here. Control is the mind's illusion of safety. Reflect deeply. Has your need for control brought you peace, or has it only made you more anxious? Imagine standing at the edge of the ocean, trying to hold it in your hands. You scoop the water tightly, desperate to keep it, but the tighter you grip, the faster it slips away. The ocean does not resist you, it simply cannot be contained. This is how life responds to control. Not with anger, but with indifference. It continues to flow, no matter how tightly you try to hold it. So pause and ask, am I fighting life or moving with it? Now close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself no longer struggling against the water, but floating on it. Your body softens. The tension leaves your muscles. You are still supported, but without effort. This is what surrender feels like. Not giving up, but letting go of unnecessary resistance. And in that release, something surprising happens. You do not sink, you stabilize, you breathe. In your daily life, begin to notice where control appears. In conversations, in plans, in expectations of how others should behave. When you feel that tightening inside you, pause. Take a slow breath. Ask yourself, is this within my control, or am I forcing it? And then gently release what is not yours to carry. So train your mind to trust the flow of life. Act where you can. Accept where you cannot. Build a calm, disciplined presence that does not depend on controlling every outcome, because peace does not come from mastering life. It comes from no longer needing to, and in that surrender, you finally rest. 9. Flexibility is inner strength. Why do rigid minds suffer the most? Even when they appear strong, sit with this quietly. Strength is often misunderstood. You were taught to hold firm, to resist, to stand unshaken. But life does not move in straight lines. It bends. It shifts. It disrupts your plans without warning. And when your mind refuses to bend with it, the pressure builds inside you. So ask yourself honestly, where am I being too rigid in my life right now? There is a deeper truth hidden beneath this struggle. Rigidity feels like control, but it is actually fear in disguise. It clings to certainty, to fixed outcomes, to familiar patterns. And when life changes, as it always does, you feel attacked, unstable, overwhelmed. But a quiet teaching reminds us, the soft survives what the rigid cannot. Reflect deeply. Have your efforts to stay in control made you stronger or more fragile? Imagine a storm passing through a forest. The rigid tree stands tall, unmoving, resisting every gust. At first, it appears powerful, but as the wind intensifies, its stiffness becomes its weakness. It cracks, then breaks. Beside it, a bamboo bends with each forceful gust. It does not resist. It adapts. It moves. It yields. And when the storm passes, it stands again, whole, unharmed. This is not weakness. This is intelligent strength. So pause and ask, am I trying to stand firm, or am I willing to flow? Now close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself as water. There is an obstacle in front of you, a problem, a person, a situation you cannot control. Instead of pushing against it, you move around it, effortlessly, calmly. You do not stop. You do not fight. You simply find another path. Notice how nothing truly blocks you. This is what flexibility feels like. Not giving up, but moving differently. In your daily life, begin to practice this shift. When things don't go as planned, pause before reacting. Notice the resistance rising inside you, the urge to force, to argue, to hold your ground, and then gently soften. Ask yourself, can I adapt instead of resist? This question creates space, and in that space, new possibilities appear. So train your mind to become flexible, not fragile. Build a strength that does not depend on things going your way. Because when you learn to flow with life, nothing can truly break you. And in that quiet adaptability, you discover a deeper peace, one that remains steady even as everything around you changes. 10. The art of managing expectations. What if peace is not found in gaining more, but in expecting less? Sit with this slowly. Notice how your mind constantly measures life. What you have versus what you think you should have. It compares, it judges, it demands improvement before allowing you to feel content. And in that constant reaching, you overlook what is already here. So ask yourself gently, am I truly lacking, or am I simply expecting too much from this moment? There is a quiet shift that changes everything. Lowering expectations does not mean lowering your standards. It means releasing the pressure you place on life to fulfill every desire. It means allowing experiences to be enough, without forcing them to become perfect. A simple truth emerges here. Gratitude begins where expectation ends. Reflect deeply how much of your dissatisfaction comes not from absence, but from comparison. Imagine holding a simple cup of water, nothing extraordinary, no decoration, no excess. But instead of dismissing it, you pause, you drink slowly. You feel its coolness, its clarity, and in that awareness, it becomes more than enough. This is how life feels when expectation softens. Ordinary moments regain their depth. Simple experiences feel complete. So pause and ask, am I overlooking what I already have because I am too focused on what I don't? Now close your eyes for a moment. Look at your life as it is, not as you wish it to be. Notice the small details, the breath in your body, the quiet around you, the presence of this moment. Without comparison, without judgment. There is a subtle sense of completeness here. Nothing is missing. Nothing is demanding more from you. This is peace, not created, but uncovered. In your daily life, begin to practice this art. When expectations arise, notice them without immediately believing them. Gently ask yourself, is this necessary for my peace, or is this only adding pressure? Then release one expectation at a time, not through force, but through understanding, because every expectation you drop creates space for appreciation to enter. So train your mind to expect less and experience more. Build a disciplined awareness that does not depend on life being extraordinary in order to feel at ease, because the more you demand, the less you notice, and the less you demand, the more life begins to reveal itself to you. Remember this deeply. Your life is not lacking, your expectations are overflowing, and the moment you quiet them, even slightly, you will taste a peace that was always present, waiting for you to finally notice it. Letting go is instant freedom. Why does peace feel so far away, even when nothing is chasing you? Sit with this quietly. Look at what your mind is still holding, a memory that has already ended, a person who has already gone, a version of life that no longer exists, yet you carry it as if it still belongs to you, and then you wonder why your heart feels so heavy. So ask yourself honestly, what am I holding on to that has already let go of me? There is a simple truth many people avoid. You are not suffering because of what happened. You are suffering because you are still holding on to it. The mind keeps replaying, reopening, and reshaping, trying to change something that is already finished. But reality has already moved on. Only you remain behind, holding on to what cannot return. A quiet teaching says, freedom begins the moment you loosen your grip. Reflect deeply. Why are you still carrying what life has already taken from you? Imagine walking on a long road with a heavy stone in your hands. At first, it feels manageable. Then your arms begin to ache, your breath becomes shorter, your steps become slower, and still you keep carrying it, not because you have to, but because you feel like you should. Now pause. Look at your hands. You were never tied to this weight. You could put it down at any moment. So ask yourself gently, why am I afraid to let go? Close your eyes for a moment and feel that burden clearly. The regret, the attachment, the expectation that never became real. Hold it in your hands, notice how heavy it feels, and now, slowly, place it down. No force, no drama, just a quiet choice. The moment it leaves your hands, something changes. Your body softens, your breath becomes deeper. There is space where there was tension. This is not imagination. This is what letting go feels like, immediate and real. In your daily life, begin practicing this with awareness. When a painful thought returns, do not fight it, but do not hold it either. Notice it, and then gently let it go again. This is discipline, not control, but release, again and again, until the mind understands that it does not need to keep holding on. Because every time you release, even a little, you return to the present. So train your mind to drop what no longer serves you. Not tomorrow, not when everything feels perfect, but now. Because peace is not something you find in the future. It is something you uncover the moment you stop holding on to the past. And remember this, your freedom has never been far away. It has only been waiting for your hands to finally open. Bonus. When you let go, life begins to flow. Why do the things you once chased begin to appear when you finally stop needing them? Sit with this quietly. At first it may even feel unfair. You struggled, pushed, and tried to control every outcome, and nothing came. But the moment you softened, the moment you loosened your grip, something changed. Opportunities felt closer. People responded differently. Life started moving again. So ask yourself gently, what changed? The world or your resistance to it? There is a subtle truth hidden here. Life does not respond well to force. It flows where there is openness, where there is space, where there is no desperate need. When you cling, you create tension. When you chase, you create distance. But when you let go, you create alignment. A quiet teaching says, what is meant for you comes when you stop chasing it. Reflect deeply. Have you been trying to pull life toward you instead of allowing it to come? Imagine a river flowing toward the ocean. It does not rush in panic. It does not force the land to move. It simply flows around rocks, through narrow paths, and across open ground. And no matter what obstacles appear, it reaches where it is meant to go. Not through control, but through consistency and surrender. This is how your life begins to move when you stop resisting it. So pause and ask, am I flowing with life or fighting against it? Now close your eyes for a moment. See yourself as that river, moving naturally without rushing. You are not stuck. You are not lost. You are simply on a path that is unfolding in its own time. Feel the calm within that movement. Feel the quiet trust growing inside you. And notice, there is no fear here, because you are no longer trying to force the future. In your daily life, begin practicing this trust. When something does not happen the way you expected, do not react with frustration immediately. Instead, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, can I allow this moment to be as it is? Then take your next step without desperation, because action that comes from peace carries a different energy. It attracts instead of pushing away. So train your mind to release the need to chase. Let go of the constant urgency to make things happen faster, sooner, or better. Build a calm and steady presence that trusts the timing of life, because when you stop forcing, you start receiving. And remember this deeply. Life flows toward those who are no longer blocking it. We would love to hear your thoughts. If you are not sure what to say, just type, "My mind is free now," Quick summary of principles. Expectations are invisible agreements. You create silent expectations and assume others will meet them. When they do not, you feel hurt without fully understanding why. Much of your disappointment comes from what was never clearly spoken. Clarity removes suffering faster than expectation ever can. The ego wants reality to obey. Your ego creates should rules to feel in control. Reality does not follow your inner script. The more you resist what is, the more you suffer. Peace begins when control ends. Expectations shape perception. You do not see life as it is. You see it through what you expect. Your mind filters reality through beliefs and assumptions. This distortion creates false meaning and unnecessary pain. Awareness breaks this illusion. Negative expectations create fear. You mentally prepare for failure before it happens. Fear becomes your inner prediction system. This shapes your actions and repeats the same results. Trust removes what fear tries to build. Pain comes from broken illusions. You are not hurt only by reality, but by imagined outcomes. Disappointment is the collapse of your mental story. You suffer from what should have been, not from what is. Acceptance restores emotional balance. Chasing pushes things away. The more you chase, the more resistance you create. Desperation quietly pushes away what you want. Attachment turns desire into pressure. What you stop chasing often returns naturally. Detachment is not indifference. Letting go does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop depending on results. You can love deeply without losing yourself. Freedom exists where attachment ends. Control is an illusion. You try to control people, results, and timing. This creates stress and frustration. Life cannot be forced into your expectations. Surrender creates peace, not weakness. Flexibility creates strength. Rigid thinking leads to suffering. Life keeps changing beyond your control. Adaptation helps you move with ease. Inner flexibility is true strength. Manage expectations. Find peace. Lower expectations reduce emotional friction. Gratitude replaces comparison and lack. You begin to value what already exists. Peace grows when demands become fewer. Letting go ends suffering. Holding on extends emotional pain. Release is always available in the present moment. You do not need more time. You need awareness. Freedom begins the moment you let go. Letting go attracts what truly matters. When you stop forcing, life begins to flow. Detachment removes resistance from your path. What aligns with you comes naturally. Effortless living begins with inner release. In the end, your suffering was never created by life itself. It was created by the gap between what is and what you thought should be. The mind seeks control, certainty, and results. But life does not offer these forever, and that is not a flaw of life. It is the doorway to freedom. Because the moment you stop demanding that life follow your expectations, you step into a deeper understanding, one that flows, adapts, and allows. This is the heart of Zen, not controlling the river, but becoming one with its flow. When you let go of what you think should happen, you begin to see what is actually happening. So pause for a moment and ask yourself, what expectation am I still holding that is quietly taking away my peace? Let it go, not as a loss, but as a step toward awakening. And if this message connected with something deep inside you, take a moment to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Buddha's Eternal Wisdom for more powerful Buddhist insights on living a peaceful, awakened life.